Howdy, folks. Greyhawk 4x4 coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer. And we have indeed made it to another glorious Beer 30. Cheers. Now, this is a very special Beer 30 for a multitude of reasons. We're going to start with the beer that I'm drinking. Now, before I get any further into this, please remember to click like, subscribe, all that good shit, so that I can eventually get monetized at some point. That would be grand. Thank you. But second thing is, for those that don't know, this is my regular series. Try to do it once a week. We do a Beer 30 where I try a craft beer. We talk a little bit about the beer and maybe tell a story or whatever, and then we get into the gaming news of the day, whatever that may be. So, this beer, what I'm drinking, it's called Grolsch. I've had it many times, so this isn't like I'm giving a review or anything, because I've had it many times. This is the special flip top. That's like a full pint that these come in. And indulge me for a moment. Like I said, this is going to be, this will be a longer video. Get yourself something to drink, maybe a beer, settle in. I'm going to tell a story here real quick. Story time. And then we'll get into the gaming stuff. So, this beer has a special place in my heart because when I was in the Army in Germany, my dad came over. He flew over to visit my first wife and I. And he spent, I forget however much it was, a couple grand, to do it. And he comes over there and we decide we're going to get in my BMW. I took leave from the Army. I took like 2 weeks leave. And we're just going to get in the car and we're just going to explore the Europe in the car. And we packed all the shit up and everything and off we go. And we went through a bunch of different countries. At one point, we found ourselves, I'm going to say it was Switzerland. It could have been Austria, but I'm pretty sure it was Switzerland. They're right there together. We had pulled over to get to a guest house to get a room for the night because we were exhausted. It was time to take a break. And in typical fashion, when you do that, you immediately check in, and then you put your bags and stuff in your room and all that stuff, and then you go down to the pub. That's usually, a guest house is usually a great big house somebody has, it's their home, and they have their restaurant, pub on the bottom floor, and then they rent out the rooms above. And it's cheaper than like an actual hotel, And there's sometimes you have to share a bathroom upstairs. There's a community bathroom for the floor, for the rooms up there and all that, but it's cheaper, And in the Army, I didn't have a lot of money. My dad spent everything he had coming over. So we're in this guest house, typical, pub. And luckily, the most of the staff there spoke English. I spoke a little bit of German, enough to like order food and that kind of stuff and all that. But luckily they spoke English because, here comes the story about this beer. There was a sign up on the wall, and it was basically a big like chalkboard that had the Grolsch logo on it. And it was a beautiful sign with the chalkboard, and they had stuff written on there. What it was is that was the special of the day. And my dad and I've been driving all day. My dad liked to drink beer. And we're thinking, we got to get some good beer, because here we are in Europe. We're getting good beer everywhere we go. We're like, we'd never tried this particular beer. And we're like, we'll take 2 of those. Zwei bitte. Actually be like that. You count like, that's 1 in Germany and in Switzerland and all that other stuff. That's 2. You use the thumb for the first one. So it would have been like, zwei bitte, 2 please, and we're pointing at that. And so we're waiting, and I can't remember what we ordered for the wife, but we're waiting for our drinks and stuff, and nothing's coming. And finally the waitress comes over, because she could see we were like kind of puzzled. And we said, we're just wondering, about our beer, and she goes, oh, well, you didn't order beer. And we said, well, yeah, we want 2 of those. And she goes, and they were making us 2 of the special of the day, the food. That's what she thought we were ordering 2 of the special, and we were pointing at the logo, like, we want 2 of those beers, That's our fault, but it was kind of funny the way it went down. So we ended up getting the food, and then we got the 2, Grolsches, and and the Grolsch was incredible, you know, and then the beer was some kind of schnitzel or whatever, and it was just, but we got a kick out of it because we were like sitting there waiting. We're like, damn, I'm thirsty. I want my damn beer. Where's my beer? You know, and my dad's the same thing. He's like, damn, yeah, what's taking so long to get a beer? You know, and it was because we ordered food. We didn't realize what we'd done. So that is the story behind this wonderful beer. Now, if you haven't already tried it, it is basically a delicious Pilsner, European Pilsner. It's made in Holland. So it's, you know, and it's delicious. Holland, or the Netherlands, as it's also known. So anyway, that's enough about the beer. It's a delicious beer. That's all you need to know. Let's move on to the gaming news stuff of the day. Now, I gotta take a deep breath here because this is the face today. This is the face of shame. Indeed. I am actually ashamed of myself. And I'm going to show you why. I know that I said I was not going to buy this just to get the one book, just to get the one Monsters of the Multiverse, because I already have Tasha's and Xanthar's, and I would be damned if I spent the money to get this, just to get one book that I didn't already have, and here I am eating crow. Now, having said all that, please allow me to explain. Today happens to be mine and my wife's 30th wedding anniversary. 30 years. We had a day planned. It snowed this morning. Pretty nasty storm came through. It was a fast storm, but it was pretty nasty this morning. We had planned to go to a special breakfast. We have a favorite place we like to go to. And we were going to have the whole day up in Salt Lake. We were going to do all this stuff. Couldn't do it. We could have braved it, but even the place we were going to is in a canyon for breakfast, and that might have even been closed with the snowstorm. So we actually didn't end up leaving till later. Excuse me. So as we're driving up later, my phone goes, and it happens to be my local game shop. Now, they have me down as any of the special covers of any of the books that come out. They have the special edition covers that are only available at game stores. They have me down as an automatic to order me one. So he calls and he says, "Hey, I got your special edition covers box set for you." I had failed to call them and say, "Hey, just so you know, I'm not doing the special edition box set." I just forgot to do that. Just didn't do it. So number one, I felt horrible that they had ordered one for me to say, well, no, I don't want one. Now, I'm sure they could have sold it or whatever, but I try to be a person of integrity, and I did tell them, any of the specials, just go ahead and order me one and I will get it. And up until this point, I had every single one. They would always call me. I would go get it. Boom. I like that kind of arrangement. So I said, damn. I was like, yeah, hang on to it. I'll be by to get it. And then I hemmed and hawed while throughout the day. We're up there doing our thing for the 30th. Oh, and by the way, in case you're wondering, why in the hell are you doing a video, AJ, on your 30th anniversary? Shouldn't you be upstairs with your wife right now? Yeah, but the wife, when I asked her, I said, I normally have to do a video on Tuesdays. It's part of my schedule. But I'm going to forego that today. And she said, no, you're not. Don't you dare. You go get monetized. She's like, go do your video. If that's on the schedule, you go do your video. Because she wants me to be monetized even more than I want to be monetized. So I got my marching orders. That's why I'm here doing a video. So anyway, so we do our whole thing, today. And I ended up getting her, her one thing that she really loves is she likes good perfume. And so we took care of that today. I got her really good fragrance today, and took care of that and everything. And then we were going to go, she wanted to stop and get some other stuff. I got something else kind of funny to show you too, related to this. And I said, well, I got the game store right there next door to where she was going. And I go, the game store's right there. And she goes, I go, yeah, I got this thing that they're holding for me. And I go, but it's kind of pricey. And I kind of owe it to them to pick it up because I failed to tell them not to get it for me. And she says, no, go ahead and get it. Whatever it is, just get it. That's you got me my perfume, get that, or whatever. And she kind of was like adamant, no, get that, And so I had the guilt of them ordering me one and me forgetting to call and say, no, I don't want one. I had that guilt. And then the wife is like, no, you got me my perfume. This is your thing. Go get your thing, So that's why I now am the proud owner of this. Now, all that aside, it is absolutely gorgeous. Not going to lie. But with those two things, independent of those two things, I would not have gotten it. I would have, if I had remembered, I would have called and said, hey guys, don't get me one of those. I don't need one of those. And then I wouldn't have got one. But I'm still somewhat ashamed that I went ahead and, now whether or not I crack it open and actually use it, or just save it and see like if the price goes up in like 5 years and then maybe resell it or something, I haven't decided yet. So anyway, now another real quick side story. The thing my wife was going to next door to the game store, she's a cosmetologist, she's a hairstylist and all that. She buys the really fancy like products and all that stuff for her hair and all that stuff. And she always gets me this. Now I'm only showing you this because it's kind of funny. This is what she gets me for my 3-in-1, my shampoo, my conditioner, and my body wash. But it's called Woody's, but it comes in, it looks like a whiskey bottle. It even comes with a spigot, like the same kind that you would have in a whiskey bottle. You can use the regular cap that closes, or you can take that off and stick that, which is what I do, so that all you got to do when you're in there, just grab it, pour some in your hand, just like you're pouring a bottle of whiskey. And it even's the same color, obviously, so it looks like a bottle of whiskey in your shower. So that's the only reason I just thought it's kind of funny that, and I love this stuff, and this bottle like that lasts me a while. So anyway, if that's something you're interested in, to maybe if you're out there in the dating scene and you have a significant other person come over and they happen to see it and they think, without actually reading it, it looks like you have a goddamn whiskey bottle in your shower. It's like, holy shit, I'm involved with somebody that drinks whiskey in the shower, Anyway, I thought that was kind of funny. So that's enough of all the, I told you it was going to be a long video. So, let me wet the whistle real quick. Now, let's talk about gaming news. So, what I saw today, off and on while we were up doing all of our stuff today, is I saw that Blizzard has announced that they're working on a unannounced survival game, an untitled survival game. And I don't know how I feel about that, because I don't know that the world needs another survival game. But, you've got all the different plethora of survival games out there, Rust and Ark Survival and PUBG and, well, I guess PUBG is that's not really a survival game, I guess, but there's a whole shit ton of survival games out there to list off. How do you guys feel about that? About a Blizzard-made survival game? I don't know how I feel about that. Respawn announced that they're making 3 Star Wars games, including one first-person shooter Star Wars game. Now, that's what got my attention, because that is one of my all-time favorite games. So I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll show you guys This is my Jedi Outcast Collector's Edition tin, my Star Wars Jedi Outcast Collector's tin that I got when I was in Texas, when I was living there. I don't remember what year it came out, but the reason that I ran out and got it, I remember I was an operations manager for a delivery company, and even though I was a manager, I was out doing deliveries every day. And so I'm out. I remember it was the summertime, and I was out, and my buddy who I worked with, I actually worked for him at that point. He sends me a thing over the Nextels. There you go. If you don't know what a Nextel is, you Google that. Nextel was like a two-way radio and cell phone all together in one. We used Nextels to communicate. And he beeps me over the Nextel. He's like, "Hey man, that Jedi Outcast is out, and I heard there's a collector's edition or whatever." And I drove on my lunch break. I drove straight to the mall and went straight to Electronics Boutique or whatever it was. And sure enough, they had this collector's edition tin there. And like I've said before, collector's edition idiot right here, moron right here. I always have to do the damn collector's edition. But I thought, well, if they're actually making a first-person shooter, we'll go all the way back. So Dark Forces. This was the very first Star Wars first-person shooter game. And it was outstanding. It's actually considered a classic, almost legendary type. You can see how dry the air is up here in Utah. My damn skin's all cracking and breaking and busting open and all that stuff. So anyway, that was the first one, and it was very addicting. Then came out, which was even better, was Jedi Knight, which was Dark Forces 2. That was the sequel to it, and that was even better, which is hard to believe. And then they had, let's see here. Why do I guess I have two. Damn, I got two Jedi Knights. I got two of them for some reason. I had two copies of it. I don't know. And then there was Jedi Knight Jedi Academy, which was the sequel to that. And these are all first-person shooters. And then Jedi Outcast. And when the most recent Star Wars game, and I always forget that, the most recent one, that ended up not being a first-person shooter. That ended up being third-person, more like third-person action combat, which is the one Respawn did. And now they're making 3, including hopefully a true first-person shooter like these. These were the classics right here. And what's cool about that collector's edition is, I don't get a chance to show this off very often, but this came inside that collector's edition. This is the little mini lightsaber that came in that Jedi Outcast collector's edition. Now, what's cool about this is, I can't believe these batteries still work. I think these original batteries still in here. Good God. I always kept this thing by my keyboard, because when that came out, backlit keyboards weren't a thing yet. Even though years before that, I had the idea, and I have buddies that will attest to this. I was saying, why is there not backlit keyboards so when we play in the dark, we can see our keys? I was saying that years before they actually made backlit keyboard. Now, I wasn't savvy enough to figure out a way to actually capitalize on that idea, but I did have that idea. So before there were backlets, I kept this always by my computer so that if I was playing and I had the lights off and stuff like that, and I needed to see my keyboard, I would just reach over and grab this and go like that and light up my keyboard real quick. I always kept it right by the keyboard, and it always worked for me. So anyway, I don't know. I always liked this little guy, and same batteries. That's the original batteries in that bastard too. That's crazy. I probably should take them out of there before they start leaking battery acid. I probably should do that. Anyway, so I'm really looking forward to that first-person shooter from Respawn. Let's hope that goes through and everything. But those were the two biggies that I saw today. Was and then I guess there was another announcement that the next Call of Duty games are going to be available on PlayStation. I guess there was some question about that because with the whole Microsoft buying out Activision deal, whether or not they were going to become exclusives to Xbox. Apparently, that they put that to rest. The next few Call of Duty titles will be available on PlayStation. So, for those PlayStation players out there, I'm sure you're probably happy to hear that. If you can find a PlayStation. And the last thing, let's do this because I don't want to dox him. But I got my old package here from our one friend who said that he was sending me some adventure stuff, a homebrew thing for Old School Essentials, the rule set. He was sending me like the module and some other stuff for me to review it, and I have not cracked into it. I just picked it up before I came in to do this video, so I do have that, Edward, so I'm looking forward to busting into that, and that's something that I will talk about here on the channel. Now, having said that, our current DM, who is DMing our Dolmenwood campaign with the OSC rule set, he saw these on the Discord, that the Discord channel, and he's going to read them first because he may decide to use that in our campaign. If he decides to use it, he is also going to review it for you if you want. But then once we go through it, then I will review it because I don't want to have spoilers for myself because I am playing through it. So that's the way that's going to go. If that's okay, let me know down in the comments. Send me something on Discord, whatever. If it's not, you know. But we have that to look forward to also, folks. So, anyway, that should do it for this I almost said epidemic. For this edition of Beer 30. Now, I'm going to go spend the rest of the evening with the wife. Cheers, guys. We'll catch you on the flip side.